Okay, so I want to thank everybody for coming to the Developers Forum. This is being put on by the Lake Business Partnership. My name is Jeff Martin. I'm the Vice President of the partnership. I also am the Vice President of Southern Design Builders around the lake here. We've been around the lake since like 2000. Been with the partnership it's been very profitable for us as a business to get to know some of the other businesses around the lake and everything like that. So first off, I'd like to thank Lake Anna Winery for being one of the sponsors and letting us have this here in the lake. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Also, I'd like to thank our other sponsors. One is Gene Newman with Fulton Mortgage. Marie Steiner with Lake Anna Lemons. Also, Southern Image Design Builders. My wife, Virginia Community Bank, Dan Moskowitz. Dan, there he is. And Terry Woods with Northern Virginia Title and Escrow. There he is. The way this is going to be set up is we've got 5 developers around the lake here that are going to give you a presentation of their project. It's going to be, each of them get 30 minutes. There'll be like 15 minutes to talk and then 15 minutes to answer any questions. Or they can take their whole 30 minutes and talk, or 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long they want to talk. The 5 developers are J.C. Baines with Mill Run. J.C. right back here. Jeff Rivers with Elk Creek Landing. Right here. Doug Wicklock with Anna Coves. Jerry Griffith with Sunset Coves. And Lake Anna Resort at Blunt. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to let, we have some representatives from the New Bridge Fire and Rescue. Got Dave Broadman here, and he's going to give a short synopsis of what they're doing, where they're at with that, and then we're going to start in with the developers.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jeff, and Lake Anna Business Partnership. Thank you, Jeff Hydick and Lake Anna Winery. That's a nice wine here, and some good people behind the bar back. I also have, my name is Dave Gordon. That's an unusual name. You won't hear it anywhere else, most likely. Ed Reed is one of my neighbors. He's on a committee with me. We're just citizens. We're not a group. We don't have a charter. We're just some people in the neighborhood who kind of realized a long time ago that we had a need for more emergency services around the lake, on both sides of the lake. But I do live on the Louisa side of the lake. Ed Reed is an emergency room doctor who I hope will add a few words when I get done here. I'll try to be brief. Because I don't have to convince any of you that we need more emergency services. We need to get our response times down. We've been researching this for 18 months. There's a little misconception in the media. We made presentations and spoke 3 different times at the Louisa Planning Commission. Once at their request to help them work on a plan for a fire station. We also met with board supervisors in February, early in February, where we lost a 3 to 4 votes to have a new fire station in the Louisa County Comprehensive Improvement Plan. So that means for the next 5-year budget, we're kind of out of that picture for the time being. We did ask Louisa County, and this is where the misconception lies, at the planning commission level, we made a detailed presentation in length, very detailed, where we submitted a CIP to the county. That has not shown up in minutes anywhere from meetings, or I don't believe that's shown up in the media in the large part in the media either, that most people feel that the county did not get numbers. Cindy Dobbs on our commission is going to be passing out some trifolds for you while I'm speaking. And so I want to clear up that misconception. We presented Louisa County a CIP for a fire station to be built here in Lake Anna with all the details in greater detail than the 4 or 5 that we copied more or less from neighboring counties. We felt that we did a much better job doing the CIP than the ones that we worked from neighboring counties. And then that was kind of let go, and most people don't think that those numbers were presented to the use that they were. Okay, enough of that. I want to read you a letter, and I'm going to turn this over to Ed if he has anything to add. Thank you for being so diligent and listening. I really appreciate it. You're good students. So I'm a retired school teacher. Here's a letter to New Bridge Fire Rescue Marine Station from, it says, to whom it may concern. I would like to express my concern regarding that a New Bridge Fire Rescue Marine Station be built in Louisa County, Virginia. My family has been in Louisa County for almost 3 decades. My parents currently live full-time in the Lake Anna area. They love their life in Louisa and are very active in local community events and activities. I hope they will be able to live out their retirement years with the best possible emergency services and healthcare opportunities, as family is the most important value to me. Please make fair and reasonable efforts to make Louisa County a place that cares to protect its citizens and visitors at a level you can take pride in. Megan Linscouten, manager of Healy Tibbetts Builders, Oahu, Hawaii. So I thought that letter was great because it made the point about the citizens living near the lake are in large part an aging population. And most of them are not ready to go out and start a new volunteer fire station or run on fire trucks. A lot of the younger people come on the weekends, they want to use the lake to play. I will bring up the point that a lot of tax dollars do come from the lake area. And we would hope that Louisa County would someday send some of that money back in the direction of the lake. We're not asking for anything more than the rest of the county gets in protection. We're just asking for the same protection. We want the response time to go down in the area of the lake. Thank you.
So I guess a quick question would be helpful is, prior to tonight, how many people have, just for the show of hands, have heard about this effort to get a fire station there? That's quick, I mean, that's great. Now, how many of you have felt supportive of having another fire station here? So the other question is, do you have any questions regarding, the underlying drive behind this? The response time, for somebody who's been in emergency medicine for over 30 years, how quickly you can get to either a trauma victim or a medical emergency, and how quickly you can then transport them to the nearest facility that has definitive care is crucial. I mean, it's true that maybe only 1 out of 100 calls that the ambulances get are cardiac arrests. But the time, if it's anything longer than 6 minutes, the amount of people that survive goes down dramatically.
I got a question. I'm at Fox Daniel here in Oklahoma. I had the opportunity to go down to Louisa, very nice people, and get a permit for a house, and we really in the last one. I thought in Vegas, It's almost a shame. I mean, it appears to me, from an outsider looking in, that Louise got all the potential in the world. You know, they're like, looks to me like right on the edge, okay? It's the unfortunate thing that there is no hospital facilities needed in the area. I mean, whether you go to Charlottesville, go to Richmond, or what might be the case. I mean, I said that would be a great idea where someone would get some kind of hospital involved as well as a community college. Because what ends up happening to the old people, the farmers and everything else, they're going to move away. Where are they going to move to? They're going to move closer to hospitals and things like that. Okay, so you're losing those people. And with the young people, if you have a community college, then you have the ability to, I'm not sure how you go about doing that. If it's some kind of bond or something of that nature, that, you know, it just appears to me that Louisa, if you're down outside looking in, is right on the fence. And it's an important thing that people that are living in that area, the immediate area, has to go 40 minutes this way, or 40 minutes this way. Yeah, I mean,
And, you know, and
it's
that's
a shame, it's a shame.
and that's a really good question, and the idea of having
Young
a
people,
facility.
they have community college, they can go to work for the fire department, they can go to work for the hospital.
But hospitals have to go through a pretty rigorous process in the state with a certificate of need, so that's something that is much bigger than this. But what we do need to do is try to figure out how do we best have access to emergency medical care so that we can take the people now who need care and get them transported, you know, to where they need to be. Because the other 99% who aren't in cardiac arrest, the data is really good too, that the longer it takes to get them to the hospital, the more they've deteriorated and the longer they're admitted, and the worse they do. So that's key. Now, are there any other questions?
So what are the response times now in the area?
Well, it can vary, and the reason it can vary, so it could be anywhere from, it could be 20 or 40 minutes. The issue then is that, and I think a lot of people don't understand that if an ambulance is called for, so if you access an ambulance and you've been picked up by that crew, they are obligated to take you to a facility before they're released to try to do anything else. So literally the idea is they could pick up somebody who doesn't have has a severe illness but not really severe. And if a call goes out for something much worse, they cannot divert to do that. So what happens is when you take an ambulance out of service in a given area, then someplace even farther away has to then backcover for you. So there's where your response times can go up. So, you know, building one here not only helps the people in this, you know, this direct vicinity, but it also puts one more, you know, station that then can help other areas and back up.
Yeah, the other night, unfortunately, we had a death, I think more than one, but we had a very common member of our community pass away a week ago, and it was 26 minutes. I was told by someone in the Merrill EMS that there were 2 EMS people on duty that evening in Louisa County. And one was transporting to Charlottesville, the other one was transporting her on the way to Richmond, something about Richmond, which left Louisa County very vulnerable, right? So we're asking the county to do something they've never done before. Start a fire rescue station with municipal funds, because they're essentially paying for a great deal of the services that the county receives now. There's paid firefighters during the day. The fire station, volunteer stations receive county funding. But this would be a new step for Louisa County. And it's a step that's not unfamiliar to other localities around here. I checked with the Board of Supervisors member from this county yesterday. And they're way well on their way to going to paid firefighters, EMS, even owning the stations, running the station. Because we're in a different era where the volunteer system is running into trouble with recruiting, with maintaining active membership. People can actually make the runs. People can meet the certification requirements. Times have changed. It's not 50 years ago anymore. So we realize this is going to be a long struggle. But we left the Board of Supervisors meeting more resolved than ever before. And I want to thank 3 board members who did vote and encourage the Board of Supervisors to act on a CIP for a fire station. But as you know, we needed 4 votes, so we were short 1. But we're not going away. Any other questions?
Where are they proposing this fire station?
Okay, that's a great question for me, because for me particular, I'll tell you, particularly, I spent a few days in the hospital 2 or 3 winters ago in a near drowning in February. And that really helped spur me on to do what we're doing. So for me, there's no better place than right where the Park is, so that they could get from there to a boat at the yacht club on Route 208, have a boat already located there. There's a sheriff's boat there now. If somebody could get out there and rescue somebody, put out a dock fire, there's boating accidents, there's drownings. At this point, we pretty much just do recovery of Lake Anna. And I don't care how many times we've spoken to people, different groups. We've spoken to a lot of people, a lot of different groups, and we have a lot of endorsements from people. I think some people are beginning to listen. But no matter how many times we speak, everyone keeps forgetting that there's square miles of water that we're responsible for. We have visitors, we're encouraging people to come here to visit, tourists, people renting homes or swimming in the lake, and there are drownings, there are boating accidents, there are fires. I witnessed a boat on fire over at Tim's a year ago. So for some reason, it's like the lake doesn't exist, but it does. It's something that's part of us, and we're responsible for it. So I feel that the county is going to have to, at some point, step up. So, Ed, is there anything they can do to help us?
Yeah, I guess the obvious thing is to contact your county supervisor in your area and let them know that you are in favor of this, and that you see a real need for this, and that we need to get it into, but at least get it identified and in the CIP moving forward, so that we can move in that direction.
Right to them. Let them know you matter. Your life matters.
If we're a responsibility citizen, though, we can't contact the Louisa County when they're supervisors. Do they listen to us, or do we contact a responsibility one?
You can sign our petition,
I already did.
because you know what? If you're on that lake and the boat's coming to help you, they're not going to stop and say, "Oh, that's Pennsylvania right there."
But I know, do we contact Louisa supervisors?
You're a business owner in the county of Louisa, your business counts. If it
Well,
starts
it's
to
not
go
their
up,
responsibility, they were mine. So I'm asking for them as well.
Well, you can sign our
We're not
petition,
being
because you know what? We get that question all the time. We got so many stories of people with ambulance calls. One new resident in Saddles Rec, 55 minutes for a heart attack. You know how long, came spots a day? 55 minutes. New resident. The president will be away in Saddles Rec.
I don't know what people about the vote for.
How do you know?
No, I said, I don't know who voted for, who voted for.
Lily Gentry made a motion that the CIP be included in the county planned budgetary process with a note that there would be no money attached, no funding attached, and no location. Because I think they feel that they need to wait to see where the greatest demand in the county is going to be. Stephanie Coren seconded that motion. And Dickie Havasu was very much in favor of it.
You don't have to spot pick that. No one has to spot.
Well, the county already owns a piece of property for emergency services that was proffered to Louisa County. It's sitting over there being used as a bark farm.
So the county had to do something with the piece of land, or they would have gone back to the developer, so they put a dog park on it.
When you look
So
at your
it's still
tribal,
county land now.
when you look at your tribal and see that green circle, that's a hypothetical fire station. That's the bark park. And you'll see how it perfectly sits between the other circles. It's perfect. So I hope they do that eventually, because someone really did some good planning. There's papers over there that you can pick up on all kinds of subjects from research we've done. One of them is the rationale for the location. Because once you go away from the lake, you're forgetting about the water again. Forgetting about the tourists, the boating actions, whatever. Any more questions?
Okay. Any more questions? Oh, one back here.
Have you compiled the numbers of how many times other counties, other surrounding counties, especially Spotsylvania, have had to do mutual aid?
I don't have that statistic for you, but there is mutual agreements in some locations and,
Well, that might be helpful, because if they're happening to run mutual aid quite a bit, obviously.
it is helpful, but if you look at the map you have right there, it shows the locations of the Spotsylvania fire station down here also, and they're too far from us. They can come help us, yes, but the yellow area in that green circle is underprotected, and those residents pay 10 to 40% more for the homeowner's insurance, or they have difficulty finding a quote. So we know some people who had to cancel, their insurance was canceled when they moved here. And their provider just said, we don't cover you.